Any equation of the form y is equal to mx plus b is the equation of the line. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So if we look at the equation y equals 2x plus 1, this is of the form y is equal to mx plus b. So I know the slope is 2, and 1 is the y value of the y-intercept. So b is 1, and more precisely, that's the point 0, 1. If I plot the y-intercept 0, 1, I can put a point right here. And if I want to use the slope to get a second point of the line, since the slope is 2, and more precisely 2 over 1, I can go over 1 and up 2 to get a second point on the line. This is at 1, 3. Once I have these 2 points, I can simply draw the line going between them. So the reason this works is, if we look at a table of values, going back to our standard way of graphing an equation, if you put 0 in place of x into an equation in the form mx plus b, the mx portion vanishes and you're left with the value b. So in this case, my line was 0, 1. That's why this is the value of the y-intercept. If you move over 1, and we place that into the equation mx plus b, putting a 1 here will add 2 to our y-intercept, which gives us 3. So to see the slope from here, we have to think about, if we start at 1 and go up to 3, that difference is 2, which is the slope. For this example, I want to come up with the equation of a line y is equal to mx plus b. Specifically for the line that goes through the points 0, -2, and 2, 2. So 0, -2 is located here. 2, 2 is here. If I draw a line between these 2 points, there must be some equation y equals mx plus b that represents this entire thing. So the question is, well, what is it? To answer this question, you need to know 2 things. What is m and what is b? In this example, one of these is very easy to find, and that is the value of b. B is the y value of the y-intercept, and if we look at the equation, this point right here is the y-intercept. It was one of the given pieces of information, 0, -2. This y value is b. B is equal to -2. If you're given a point that has 0 as an x-coordinate, the y value has got to be b. So I'll put that over here. B is equal to -2. So in terms of our equation, we're halfway there. You can take y is equal to, well, I don't know m, I have x, and I'll put plus b, which is really, we're adding this -2 into the equation. So I'm just going to put y is equal to mx minus 2. To complete this question, I need to solve for m. What is the slope? Now we have a formula that we could use to figure out the slope. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where x1, y1, and x2, y2 are any 2 points that lie on the graph. Now we're given 2 points, 0, -2, and 2, 2. We can just take this information, plug it into this formula, and it will tell us the value of m. That's the only other thing that we need to know. So we can try this approach here. Maybe I'll say x1, y1 is the point 0, -2. And therefore, 2, 2 is what I'll call x2, y2. To figure out the slope, I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's 2 minus a negative 2 over 2 minus 0. M is equal to, okay, 2 minus a minus 2 is 2 plus 2, or 4. 2 minus 0 is just 2. And this simplifies to 2 over 1, or simply 2. The slope is 2. This means my equation is y is equal to the slope times x plus b, which we figured out was minus 2. It is this equation that will give us the graph going between those 2 points. Now, you could have gotten the slope without using this formula. You simply could have gone to your graph, counted over 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, and divided 4 over 2, the rise over the run. It's completely acceptable to do that as well. But if you're unsure of that, you're always allowed to use this formula because it will work too. And let's try this in one more example where, again, I want to find the equation of the line y is equal to mx plus b that goes between the points 3, 4, and negative 2, negative 1. So let's see. 3, 4 is here, and negative 2, negative 1 is here. So there is a line that goes between these 2 points. So what I need to figure out is, again, what is m and what is b? In this example, it's not obvious what b is equal to. We could try to draw the line going through these 2 points and make a guess as to where this thing crosses over the y-axis, but I want to be a little bit more careful than that. Neither of my points has 0 for x, so I do not know the value of b. This forces me to just figure out what is the value of m. So I think to do that, I'm going to go back to this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to figure out what that value is. So I think for x1, y1, I'll use the points 3, 4. And for x2, y2, I'll use the point negative 2, negative 1. If I plug this into my formula for slope, I get y2 minus y1. That is negative 1 minus 4 divided by x2 minus x1. That is negative 2 minus 3. So my slope is negative 5 divided by negative 5. That's just 1, since those 2 values are the same in the numerator and the denominator. So in terms of my equation, y equals mx plus b, if the slope is 1, I don't even need to write it. I know it's going to be y is equal to 1 times x plus b, or just simply y equals x plus b. To solve for the value of b, I can use either the point 3, 4 or negative 2, negative 1 in the equation y equals x plus b. By that I mean, let's look at the point 3, 4. I'll put it below my equation. 3 represents an x value, and 4 is the corresponding y value. If I take this information and I plug it into my equation, I'm going to put 4 in place of y, 3 in place of x, and then b I don't know what it's equal to, so I'll just copy that down too. 4 goes in place of y, 3 goes in place of x, and I don't know b. But the good news is you can solve for b. I can take this equation and subtract 3 from both sides, and I get 1 is b. By using the point 3, 4 in this equation where I figured out the slope, it allowed me to solve for the only thing I did not know, which is b. And we got that it is equal to 1. So I know the value of the slope. I know the value of b. If I put that all together, I get y is equal to 1 times x plus 1. Just one thing to point out, I used 3, 4 to figure out the value of b. You could have also used the point negative 2, negative 1, much like I used the point 3, 4. And the good news is you would still end up with b is equal to 1. You can try that out yourself, But if I now just finally sketch in the line of this equation, yeah, it kind of does look like the y value here is 1. So I'm feeling pretty confident with my answer, and that is it for this example.